Hey, what's up everyone? This is CultYap. Basically, yapping by creators for creators. Now we've seen the headlines. SPM students not attending their examinations because they want to pursue content creation. That's great, but at the expense of skipping out on your education, our guest is going to share her thoughts on the matter. She is a certified nutritionist who makes healthy living fun. From her one-pot recipes to her kitchen tips, she wants everyone to get into healthy eating. Her passion for it is as big as her smile. Jolene, welcome to CultYap!
Thank you for having me.
I'm
Thank you
so
much.
excited to have you here. I love your content, by the way. It's so educational, it's so quick, and it applies to every single person. Every single person.
Malaysian. Everything a Malaysian.
Right?
Yeah.
You need to have your meals. You know, there's no two ways about it. But I would love to know, can you share a little bit about your education background and how your academics have kind of helped you shape you into the content creator that you are now?
Okay. So I graduated as a nutritionist in University Putra Malaysia, a local university. I completed my degree and master both in University Putra Malaysia. So that's basically my academic background. And how does it shape my career? Huge. It's one of the biggest factor that pushed me into my content creation path because of what I'm creating now. It's mainly nutrition tips, grocery tips, recipes for Malaysian. At the beginning, when I started to create content, it was just me trying to stay relatable to nutrition field.
Faham?
Yeah. So when I started my content creation seriously, it was during MCO where I wasn't really doing a full-time job that is very related to nutrition.
Okay.
So content creation is a path, a tool for me to continue to stay relatable to nutrition, especially to practice my nutrition knowledge. So that's how I get into content creation. And also another reason of how another factor of how academic background affect my content creation is that one of my professors back in my university, she has this mission, I would say. She has this mission that she wants to create and increase visibility of nutritionists among Malaysians.
Okay.
So she has her own way. She's doing a lot of community projects, reaching out to a lot of B40 groups, a lot of different projects that reach out to different population.
Understood.
And my way is to use social media to increase visibility of nutritionists in Malaysia.
I get it. I guess in this day and age, it's the most efficient way to get the message out there to the masses without actually physically going out there and doing what, like your professor, right? Yeah. So why did you choose to, obviously you could have picked like the traditional route to practice nutrition, right? So what kind of switched like for you to just go into content creation? Was it purely MCO?
It's MCO, but at one point it was also quite unintentional. So I was creating content during MCO. One part of it is because I want to continue to stay relatable to my nutrition knowledge. Another part of it is just me wanting to share my daily news. That's all. So, but me being consistently posting content online and then managed to have a brand collaboration with one of the famous Japanese kitchen appliances company. So at that point, my page took off. Yeah. So that's kind of like my pivotal point. And that pushed me into like actual real content creation. So before that, it was just me playing around, still doing content creation, but it's just very unstrategic. I didn't have any strategy. I just go with the flow. Whatever I want to post, I post. But after that point, I have to take it seriously.
Understood. So how long was it of you kind of just like figuring out like your footing before you actually reached that point where you were fully into it?
So I started my random sharing back in MCO like 2020, and then until 2023 I was still at 3,000 following, 3,000 following, and then after April my page took off. Then I hit my first 10K, and then now I have around 180K.
That's a lot, okay? Yeah. Like in that one span of a year, that's insane. Yeah. That's so good.
So it's a combination of lucky but also consistency.
Yeah,
I
of
would
course.
say.
Okay, so it's quite obvious that what you studied like 100% impacts like your content creation journey, because like you said, you do nutrition content, you know, you're telling people meals they can have when, you know, they're busy working adults in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So like down to specifics, like how did you kind of take what you've learned and put it into content creation? Because you make it so simple.
Definitely one of the biggest thing that I learned when I'm in my academic years that I apply in my content creation is my nutrition knowledge. Of course, there's nothing, cannot argue about it. So nutrition knowledge is one thing, but to be able to translate that, to make it digestible, to make it applicable to Malaysian, that is actually coming from my science communication not background, but science communication skills that I developed during my academic years.
Yeah.
So during my academic years, we have to reach out to different communities to do projects, to do a community outreach. So during that point, we have to water down some of the information so to make it approachable to the population.
Yeah, like digestible, right?
Digestible. So we cannot just throw in scientific jargon to them and tell them, oh, you should eat this much and then that much because your body needs this and that. So you can tell them, but not every one of them can digest the information. So science communications is definitely one of the things that I apply. And another thing is to critically evaluate the information that you get online. So that is another thing that I learned. Because of my academic background, I get to know how can I evaluate and understand the content better. Not just my content, but also other people's content. So whether this is legit or not, whether I can trust this 100%, and even if I don't trust this 100%, how can I analyze it? So all of this is actually coming from my academic education.
Wow, okay. I would love to know how much planning goes like before you do one single video, because like you said, you need to cross-check every single thing. You are actually putting out scientific information out there. You can't just be saying whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
So what's like the process of you like posting a video up?
I have different types of videos going on my page. So recipes, not that much, because it's just free and easy recipes that I just put it out to teach people how to cook. But if it's about scientific information, scientific nutrition knowledge that is more specific, I will have to spend probably half a day or maybe 1-2 days to collect information and to read a lot of research papers in order to fully understand the topic. So because we are nutritionists, but sometimes we still need to fact check ourselves every single time we put out scientific knowledge or scientific information. So we do have to spend 1 to 2 days to collect information, sometimes even more, because some of my peers who produce more specific content than me, they spend more time to collect information from grocery, from website, from different scientific journal to get the information. And then you have to spend 1 or 2 days again to water down the information.
Make it concise, right?
Yeah, make it concise, make it easy to digest, and also make it social media friendly.
Yeah.
Because social media, we have to also play with the algorithm. We cannot make it too lengthy. We have to have the hook. So you also have to play the game.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah. So by doing that, probably it takes 1.5 weeks to actually have the proper script. Maybe sometimes just script, and then you have to start shooting, and then you have to think of how you want to shoot, different lighting, and that will be another 3 to 4 days. Yeah.
3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days plus editing.
Editing. Oh my god, I forgot about that part too.
Because it's a one-man show, man. Sometimes a lot of us it's just one-man show. Yeah, so we don't have.
Not everybody's got editors and people behind the camera. For the majority,
maybe
you're doing everything yourself.
Yeah, we have
100%. So how do you feel? Okay, let's say I put a content creator in front of you, right? Do you think there's a huge difference between somebody who has like a formal education on the background, on the topic you're talking about, or somebody who is like self-taught? Yeah.
For my content, for my field,
yes,
it would definitely help with a proper formal education because it's very technical. You get to learn every single information ground up so that you know how to break down complex topic when you learn every single thing. So proper formal education for healthcare professionals or anything like maybe engineering, architecture, it will be better for them. And self-taught is not that self-taught is not valuable. Sometimes some of the topics that we that is not so technical, like probably creative related, like writing, photography, video shooting, videography. These can be self-taught, definitely. And then you can take your own pace to learn whether you like which kind of style, which kind of photography skill, which kind of writing skill, which kind of writing style. So I would say technical part, if you are going for a very technical content, then I would prefer to have someone who have formal education with credible background to create that content. But with something that is more creative, like photography or maybe singing, acting, it can be totally fine with a person who is self-taught, but they have really good skill. Yeah.
Understood. I think, like you said, when it comes to something technical, it's so important to know that they have the credibility behind what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
But as like a consumer, somebody who's scrolling on TikTok, we are scrolling so quick. Not many people are like checking, like proper, like, oh my goodness, is the person I'm listening to legit, or are they just like saying things and they just sound smart, right? Yeah. So since you are a content creator that does something super technical, can you give like some tips on how others can suss out who's legit and who's not?
So I can only say from my field.
Yeah, go ahead.
I cannot say the same thing for any other field, but at least for healthcare professional, as long as it's someone who have very big claim about certain things in health, you may have to take their information or advice with a pinch of salt. It's not that every single thing that they say is wrong, because sometimes over-claiming things in healthcare setting, it can be very concerning, because science, especially nutrition science is it's a ever revolving, how would I say this? It's ever changing science. So we cannot say one thing for sure. And then every one of us have our own unique experience about food, about nutrition. So our body reacts to nutrition very differently. So when one healthcare professional or individual who claim that, okay, you can only eat this for the rest of your life because this is good for you. You have to eat this for the rest of your life because it's good for you. So this is over-claiming already. So this is something that you have to be very aware about when it comes to scrolling content and seeing, oh, okay, someone say that you have to follow this particular diet for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's a red flag.
Yeah, if it's too good to be true, it's not real.
Exactly,
right?
correct.
Yeah, but I'm sure your comment section is filled with people who think you're sus, who believe that, the content that you post is not legit, like, oh, like, are you real? Like, are you being serious right now? Did you in fact, how do you deal with that as somebody who literally knows her stuff, who actually went to school to learn this stuff and now is doing content with it?
So it depends on how they comment.
Okay.
So if they comment in a way where they are curious and they are actually asking questions, I will answer them. I'll answer them and then break it down to them and be very patient with them and let them know that, hey, you don't have to be afraid of this and that.
Yeah.
But if this person comes with emotion, usually I'll just let him or her be. Because you can't argue with person with emotion. Yeah, if this person is just not rational and then they come in just to attack you personally, they don't even have a proper solid evidence to support whatever they are arguing, I'll just let them be, because they are looking for attention most of the time.
Yeah. I think I saw this in action when you did your series with the microwaves. Your quick meals. Yeah. Oh my goodness, everyone had something to say about you using the microwave, and you're like, don't worry, it's not that scary.
Yeah. So then I mean, you use a lot more things that have higher radiation, and you eat less nutritious than what a lot of other people do. Then those are the things that you have to work on, not microwave. So this is how I can go around with the comments, but sometimes not replying them is the best response actually.
Yeah, I think in every kind of content that you make, sometimes you need to know when to not say something. People, they're not trying to hear you out. They just want to cause a scene. right?
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it.
Yeah. So just let it be.
The comment section can be a very dark place. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So would you say a content creator that has a formal education background has an edge over somebody who maybe is like self-taught?
It depends on the topic that we are sharing. So there are so many different content creators out there.
Okay.
We have technical knowledge or scientific knowledge related content creator, and then we have creative content creators. So I would say that, to be honest, even if you have formal education or without, or if you are self-taught in particular aspect in your content creation, continuous learning is everything that we have to, it's everyone that need to go on with their content creation journey. So regardless of your education, even for us who's graduated from healthcare industry, a healthcare background, we do also have to continue to learn whatever that we didn't get to learn back in the university, or some new information about science.
Yeah.
So this is also considered self-taught. It's not really formal education anymore.
Yes.
So self-taught comes in a lot of different way and different intensity, I would say.
Understood.
So I wouldn't say that there is an edge over self-taught when it comes to formal education. Content creator have an edge over self-taught when it comes to general content creation. But technicality, yes, formal education. For the longevity of your content creation journey, you still have to continue to learn. So which means self-taught is also another good way to continue to advance your content creation skill.
Yeah, so basically with the formal education, you've kind of covered your bases a little bit and then the journey continues. But if you're self-taught, you've got way more work to do compared to somebody.
Definitely.
To get to that same level, especially if you're focusing on the technicalities, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so what if, apart from the content creation side of it, right, do you think having a formal education affects your professionalism as a content creator?
Okay, that's a good question actually. I would say it definitely improves the professionalism of content creation, because when you went through a formal education, you were going through the education in a very structured way. So you know how people break down information, break down knowledge into smaller bits for us as a learner to learn from ground up, from foundational knowledge to something more complex. So you kind of understand how to build that up for your content creation if you are aware enough to apply that in your content creation. And then you do also have to learn how to manage time, because when you are doing your formal education, you do have different things going on at the same time.
Exams,
you have to join co-curriculum, assignments.
Yeah.
Correct. You have social life also as a student. So you do also get to learn how to juggle your life, not very intense way when you are an adult, but at least you have that knowledge. So if you are going through the process of self-taught, it may be too flexible for some people who need some structure. So it also depends on personality too. So some people, they can do well with self-taught programs. Some people, they have to do well. They can do better with formal education. But professionalism, definitely, because of how all of your formal education, the resources even, because when you go through formal education, you have accessibility to libraries, database. All of these will help you to understand where to get credible source of information.
Yeah.
So especially technical knowledge. So yes, definitely.
Even like doing assignments as a group, you learn how to work with other people.
Exactly,
you learn how to communicate.
Exactly.
And then you will take those skills and kind of learn how to communicate with, clients, stuff like that, or people, other people you're working with, other campaigns. Sometimes these are like huge projects, and these skills that you learn in uni and in school, they really end up helping you out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people didn't realize that the formal outside of the course, the subjects that you are studying, it comes also in a package of experience when you are doing your formal education. So like what you said, the group projects, the group assignment, the way that you get to mingle around with your friends and with your project group mates, all of these give you experience of that is outside of the course, outside of the subject that you are studying. So a lot of people forget that actually you are also creating your own identity throughout the process of mingling with people. in the university or in through formal education.
Completely agreed. Now, I'm going to give you a statement. You tell me whether this resonates with you or not, okay? Your academic background has helped you develop your critical thinking skills and your problem-solving skills.
I would say yes, definitely, for critical thinking skill part. So critical thinking skills coming from our research paper reading skills.
Yes.
So during university, we have to learn to read research paper and to critically evaluate each and every research paper to know that whether this method is applicable to other population or not, or the outcome of this research is it applicable to real life situation, or whether this result can be replicable in other populations. So these are the things that we need to learn how to evaluate when we are reading research paper, and that can be translated into your content creation. So you learn how to analyze insights, your content creation data, and then you will have to learn how to improve by looking at your insights. So that's one thing that definitely works for my content creation. But problem solving, I would say it would come after I graduated, because a lot of time during formal education, you don't have much problem to solve.
No, the only problem is, oh my god, I have an 8 a.m. class. I want to sleep in. Can I go out tonight? Because should I skip class tomorrow?
So the problem is relatively minute.
Yes,
relatively.
correct.
I wouldn't say it's not a problem. It's relatively minute. So I would say you get to learn problem identifying skills during your formal education, and that is the foundation of your problem solving skills when you are actually in the society, actually in the real world. Yeah, so it's kind of like interrelated, but problem solving skills develop along the way, outside when you are out of university, when you are actually in the real world.
Yeah, man. So it's obvious that your academic background has completely and wholly affected you as a content creator, right?
Yep.
So how do you feel about, you hear these news headlines and stories about content creators telling, their followers and their audience that, oh, I didn't study and look where I am. I didn't get a formal education, but I'm out here making money, I'm making bank. How do you feel about this?
Personally, I would say as a content creator, as a content creator with good amount of following, you really have to realize how big of an influence you have.
Facts. It's called influencer for a reason.
Exactly. So you cannot even if you are just maybe 1K, 3K, 4K, you are still creating content out there and influencing some people. I wouldn't say like big mass population, but you're still influencing some people. So every single thing that you put out, you have to be responsible of your words. You can't just go around and randomly say that, hey, this is what I do, so you can do this. You can do the same as me. You do have, as a content creator and as an influencer, you do have to realize everyone has their own path. And every one of us have different resources.
Correct.
So when you say that, I don't go through anything, I just create content and that's it.
Yeah.
So you are also downplaying your own experience of being a self-taught content creator who go through a lot of different failures and experience in order to reach that particular result. So she or he may have already forgotten that they actually went through a lot to reach that. And then they just downplay their own experience too. Hey, I didn't have education, and then I'm successful.
Suddenly I'm successful.
Yeah, it's not fair for the audience. It's not fair for them also because they downplayed their experience already. So it's definitely more than that. It's not just not so easy.
Yeah.
Right.
You might have your favorite influencers, but you really need to look back at the message that you're sending out, because sometimes, it's not really going to help you out in the long run. I feel like, even like you said, you need to have that responsibility as an influencer yourself to be sharing the right message, because you never know, like your audience, you might have a 10-year-old listening to you.
Definitely.
And then suddenly this 10-year-old is like, Mommy, I don't want to go to school anymore.
Just 10 years old.
I know, that's crazy. Yeah. So it's even more scary when we actually read news headlines. Like the last SPM, about 10K students just didn't show up. And we're not even going to go there. Please finish your SPM, okay? It's so important to finish your SPM. There are a lot of jobs you can't get without that SPM cert. But what if you had somebody in front of you, a content creator that is done with school but is thinking of just diving headfirst into content creation without furthering their studies with like higher education. Like, what would you tell them?
First of all, I will have to sit down with them and ask, like, what is your concern about going into university or going into to have further education? Because if it's about money, if it's about some other family issues, then sometimes we can't help.
Understood.
So we have to understand where they are right now and then just assist them along the way. But if the reason is just as simple as, oh, I just want to go content creation, but they totally have the resources going into tertiary education, then I'll have to remind them that why not you go both? You don't have to choose. You can go for something that is like, if you really want to do content creation, you have to evaluate whether you want to go for a course that may help your content creation journey. Whether you want to go for a digital marketing course or whether you want to go for a mass comm course, so that it can help you to push your content creation path to a further height, because you do have better knowledge than some people who is self-taught, maybe like me, in the content creation at least. So this is something that they have to think about, not just, content creation versus university, I can only choose one. You can actually go for both. And if you yourself have some specific topics that you actually like, but you don't have the knowledge yet, the tertiary education is actually your opportunity to dive deep into the knowledge, and then you can use that as your content. So you don't have to choose. A lot of people forget that you don't have to choose when you have the resources, of course.
Yeah.
If you have the resources, you don't have to choose. And then it's a very good opportunity for these people to learn how to juggle their content creation and study too. Because after your study, after your university, you have more things that you need to juggle.
Yeah.
So it's tiring. So if you have the opportunity to make mistake and you have the opportunity to learn to juggle during university, go for that.
Okay, what if, and I'm putting myself in the mind of a fresh out of SPM student that's so gung-ho about content creation, right? What if their reasoning is, why do I want to delay the process 4 years, instead of studying and working at the same time doing content creation? What if I just put my all into content creation in this next 4 years? I'll be somewhere by the time my peers graduate uni and they're just about to start out. What if that is the motivation behind?
It's actually, I don't know whether they can listen to this or not, but complete your degree is actually a safety net for you, just in case you don't want to do content creation for the rest of your life. Because if, for example, if you are some content creators who relies a lot on your youth, sorry to say that, but if it relies a lot on your youth, your beauty, and once you get older, but you don't have the tertiary education to help you to move on for the next stage of your life, what do you want to do?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you have, for example, at least a business management degree, you have the skills, you have the knowledge to help you to venture into other business.
Something else. Yeah.
So that you don't have to rely on your, physical strength or youth or beauty for the rest of your life. Because at one point, I think you'll be very bored of creating the same content over and over again if you don't have anything.
Exactly. Everyone goes through that burnout as a content creator. Sometimes you're just so done and you don't want to deal with it, right? And I feel like having a formal education, it kind of takes a lot of the stress off of you as well, because we know content creation jobs, like the money that you get from clients, it's not like a steady thing. It's not like every single month you're going to get this amount of money. That's just not how it works. If you get a job, you get a job. If you don't, you don't, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so on those months, on those weeks where you don't, and you have that formal education, you're going to be real thankful. Trust me, you're going to be so thankful you completed that degree and you graduated.
Yeah, you can bring that degree with you and then go around and then you can get an actual job if you feel like content creation is not doing well for you.
Yes,
so you
correct.
do have to have a safety net for yourself.
It's so important. Every day, like I always say this, I really was so mad at my mom when she forced me to do my degree. But now looking back, she had my best interest at heart. She knew what's up. Because it's so normal to go through burnouts as a content creator. Sometimes you just don't want to do it anymore. There must have been times where you just felt like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. But at least you have that something that you can fall back on. It's so good to have a safety net. internet. Trust me.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And a lot of people forget that to go through formal education, especially university, it's such an important time for them to develop their own personal identity.
Correct.
And if they strip that part of their life out of whatever, if they strip that part out of their life, it's I don't know how are they going to maneuver their life without that part, because it's a time where they are still very vulnerable. They are still shaping their worldview. So if you already go out and start working and start content creation and start exposing to this social media pressure and all during that part of your life, I'm not sure whether you feel safe and steady enough when you're at 30 years old, because you don't have that part of your life to develop a proper foundation for your own identity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unless you have like really great mentors around you and
Yes,
like a great group of like solid people around you, then it's a completely different conversation. But most people don't have that.
Yeah, it's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, it's not that easy. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so reflecting on your whole journey as a content creator, from your education to, you know, actually going into this line of work, right? What is something that you've picked up? It could be a knowledge or even a skill. What's something that you've picked up that you will continue to bring with you as this industry grows and evolves, and you know there are more content creators in the scene and there are more people doing nutrition? What is something that you've learned that you'll bring with you?
I would say throughout this journey, I realized how important it is science communication. So it's especially for healthcare professional who wants to deliver their message to the mass public, because for now, this is how people consume message right now. This is how people consume content and consume information. So we have to understand this, and then we have to know how to use these tools to help us to deliver the message to the mass public, because we cannot just rely on just physical event anymore. So science communication is one of the most important thing, especially for healthcare professional, to learn and to keep sharpening because of how people consume information now. So I think that's one of the things that I would continue. I want to continue to sharpen it, and also I want to, if I have this knowledge, I want to pass it down to other nutritionists or dietitians too.
That's amazing. You definitely are doing a good job because your content is so digestible. I understand everything. I'm educating myself, and you are doing a great job educating the whole of Malaysia and all the young adults that are, you know, trying to figure out this busy life of being a working adult. Good job, Jolene.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sitting here with me on this couch and yapping. You can go and check out all of Zilene's one-pot recipes and her kitchen tips on her IG, okay? This has been another episode of CultYap. Again, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.